Standard operating procedure.
Well, this is just the rules, though. It's fine. It's fine. This isn't the real thing. Not like that matters, though.
Hey, I got a notification.
Oh, man, it's wrestling on right now. Okay, wait. Oh, the whole point of this was that I was gonna do this thing, and then this was supposed to integrate the chat into it as well. So I was supposed to add the chat viewer. Why did it? Like that, it was working last time, and then it logged me out. Hey, Jeremiah says success.
There you go. Well, at least it's working. Hey, we have 3, and we've got.
You can cover the bank.
Yeah, I was working on it. How's that?
Yeah.
Great success. That is unreadable.
Great success.
Chat box. Views. Text size. Much larger. There we go. All right.
Hey, we already got somebody who's messed.
Holy cow. Okay.
I hear you.
What,
I hear you.
So Jeremiah has not played 1828 before. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we're going to do our best to run through 1828 again. Sean's been reading the rules. Oh, no, I wasn't ready. All right. I don't need all those. Okay. So, did you win anything?
I don't know. The top's different.
Uh-oh.
That's weird. It's like a dial.
What? Today's stream is not brought to you by Monster Energy
You
Drink.
just bite
Because
into
what the...
it. Just bite it with your teeth. That's how you open a can.
If you can't get into it, you shouldn't get into it.
If you can't get into this,
nice
you don't deserve to have it. All right. So, Jeremiah,
Yes.
in a 3 and 4 player game, have you discarded 1 red train from the game? You've done all the
No, I did not do the thing.
Not you. Sean.
You did
Sean, have you...
I did not do the private setup.
Okay. So,
I walked through those things and did some things.
you did something.
I did some of those things.
In a 3-player game... Nope. In a 3-player game, randomly discard 4 of the $250 companies.
Do you want to keep any of the ones that it suggests to keep?
In players of the new game, you should keep 1 or more of the following. We'll discard them and see what happens.
Yeah. Discard 4. Do 4.
Okay, what do we have left?
Missouri Pacific, New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Grand Trunk, and Ontario, Simcoe, and Huron.
Grand Trunk and Ontario Simcoe Huron are
suggested to be in the game.
Yeah, Jeremiah, where's your church key?
What?
Your church key?
Church key?
It's for opening beers from the 70s.
Oh. Yes.
Before they had the pull tab, you had to have a thing.
Right,
yeah.
but I don't have... Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a bottle opener.
Yeah.
Where's my church key?
Oh, I gotta lean up the side so I can text my wife.
Nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to see
I'm
that.
telling her to take all of my clean clothes off the bed so she
Someone go
can
over
go
here.
to sleep. Okay, so let's set up the private auction because it works slightly differently than what you're used to. Coal place 2 coal tokens. 2 coal tokens on the Virginia coal fields and 1 on the... Yeah, you did. You set it
2
up.
on the Virginia coal fields.
That was so close.
All right. Place the Coburg and Peterborough Railway. Yeah, very good, very good. Okay. You've discarded 1 red train from the game.
Correct.
Very good. Arrange the privates in 6 rows by cost. I'm going to move the trains out of the way.
Very good.
Okay. So we start with the $20 privates.
Wait a minute, what are these?
Those are also privates,
Okay,
but we're gonna get there in just a minute. Nope, not that one. This one. Schuylkill Valley and the St. Clair Tunnel are on a row. Then there is the Champlain and St. Lawrence on its own row. The rows are very important for the auction. The Delaware and Hudson, the Coburg and Peterborough, and then they start getting into largely the same colors, which is difficult. The Mohawk and Hudson, Erie and Kalamazoo, the Camden and Amboy, and then the 4 large privates, the $250 privates, are arrayed out there from left to right in order that is important. So order from left to right is important for the auctions. So everybody has a player order tile. I am number 3.
I'm number 2.
I'm number 1.
Okay. There is additionally a second set of player order cards for passing. So, on your turn, you may buy and take a private for its cost. If it does not have a bid, it must be in the cheapest row. And if it is in a row with other privates, and all other privates in that row have a bid.
All right, so it's like an 1830 style auction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you bid, you pass, or you buy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can bid on them standard. You $5 over
So
face
hold
value.
on.
Okay.
So let's say these are gone.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that. I'll get that.
There's a bid on this one.
I'll get
You
to
could
that.
buy that one for face value.
I'll get you that in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So buy.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy it if it's in the cheapest row.
Yep.
And everything else has a bid on it.
Yeah.
This could have a bid on it.
Yep.
If it has bids on it, then you can buy this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the cheapest in a row.
Gotcha.
Everything else has to have a bid on it in the cheapest row. You can't buy this one because it's not in the cheapest row.
Correct.
Okay. You can bid or increase your bid. $5 multiple. An integer of $5 multiple is larger than the face value or the current largest bid. If you are outbid on one of the greens, your money is returned to you.
These are effectively B&Os.
Those are all B&Os.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But all of the money for these is committed. If you get outbid on those, it's returned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You may pass. A player that's passed can still act in future rounds. If everybody passes consecutively while one or more private companies remain unbought, all private companies are auctioned or awarded for their bid, cheapest to most expensive. So if everybody passes, that's when we clear bids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
All bids.
All bids.
Yeah.
All private companies with bids will be cleared and resolved. All private companies then pay revenue. Exception, the Coburg and Peterborough does not. I'm sorry, it pays a special $15 revenue. That's a handful of rules. Then, after we've cleared the tiles and collected our incomes, we start bidding again. When all private companies are purchased, the stock round begins with the next player in player number card order. Okay?
If everybody passes,
Once they've all been purchased,
then everything pays.
if everybody passes,
Then everything pays. And then we start over, right?
if something remains unbought, everybody passes. We clear them, they pay, and we continue the auction.
Right.
If everything has been purchased, we go to a stock round. After a player buys a company, the new cheapest is checked for bids. After a player buys a private company, the new cheapest and leftmost company is checked for bids. But so in that example, there's a bid here, and he buys this one.
Mm-hmm.
This gets resolved. If it is in a row, multiple privates, the same cost. If it has exactly one bid,
Yes.
he takes it. Yeah. So Shawn bids on this. Jeremiah buys this. Shawn gets that.
Yes, because nobody has bid on it.
Then it would just.
And then we go down and check the next one.
The new cheapest and leftmost private company is checked for bids.
Yes.
Cheapest and left. That is the cheapest and leftmost.
Yes.
Okay. If it has more than one bid, they repeat. The process repeats if the next cheapest and leftmost private company has more than one or more bids, until you reach a private company with no bids. Which means that if it's a bid, pull the ripcord here, resolve, stop.
So that's just like, yeah.
That is
Well,
my.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if this could have a bid, and this could not have a bid, you still stop.
And it reaches a company with no bids.
Or
a row of privates with the same cost is reached, and one or more of them doesn't have. Okay, okay. Or all of them have been purchased.
Correct.
So it's looking for a category, like a row.
Yeah. Dink, dink.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Behold.
Okay. So, do you have any questions about the bidding process?
No.
All
No,
right.
I get that.
Okay. So, what do they do? I bet you'd like. I
That's what
bet
I'd
you
like
would
to
like
know.
to know that. Well, that's too bad.
You have to guess.
Yeah. Deal
I'll
with
take
it.
that one.
You know, the first time that might as well be good enough.
Probably.
It's just like dark. Okay. They are here, I think. Didn't go quite far enough. Companies. Private companies. In the green phase, the director of a company can buy a private for $1 to double face value. Okay? Private company is then moved to the owning company's charter, and future revenues are paid to the Treasury.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I was going to read more, but I guess you're done, so we'll just move on. So these are the classic blockers. That indicates what hex they block.
Mm-hmm.
Hex they block. They pay revenue. This one pays more revenue to the company. 5 to you, 10 to the company. So if you buy it in, a little bit more money. Champlain and St. Lawrence. You can place a yellow track tile in B24 for free at any time during the company's operation. This does not count as the owning company's track lay. Does not need to be connected to or be part of one of the owning share company's routes. Champlain, St. Lawrence, this one right there? Okay. Delaware and Hudson, the owning company can pay $120 to place or upgrade a track in Scranton and optionally place a token marker there. This counts as your yellow track light or upgrade. If you place a token there, it also counts as your token for the round.
It's a teleport.
But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Coburg and Peterborough. Shawn, why don't you give that one a... Since you ran it a bunch last time.
All right. So this runs first in a set of ORs. It starts here. It lays track.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to pay
Cost.
terrain fee, it has to come from its treasury. You lay a track, and then you use that track to generate basically 2 trains worth of revenue.
Yep.
So if you lay this track, you get nothing because there's no 2 train can run. So if you lay this track, you can then get $30, 15 and 15 paid into each.
But you have to use the track that
You have to use the track, but it can also hang off the
It
end.
can hang on.
So you could lay this track the first round and this track the second round and still get these 2 tiles.
Yep.
Or you could lay that one and do those. Or you can lay that one and do
but
those.
I'm saying you could lay this one and then lay this one and you still use these 2 because it counts. It can run off the end.
So it just has to use the new track. It doesn't have to start with the token.
It does not have to. It does not matter with the token. You could lay this track and then this track, and you'd count these 2. Well, if this one was connected,
Right, you would lay that track
then you
and
count
get
these
those 2, and then the following turn you take there and
Yes.
Okay.
that's
And then
wild.
at some point you buy it in.
And what happens to the token? It turns into a...
It turns into whatever company buys
Lots
it.
of- okay. But it doesn't do the powering.
Nope.
No, but it does block until then.
Yes, you can't build in this space because it's just like a regular private.
Gotcha.
You cannot upgrade that no matter how much you might want to.
It's a neat idea.
Barry. It's right there.
What, in London? Oh, in Barrie, Ontario? The Mohawk and Hudson can be exchanged in the yellow phase. Okay, I thought maybe in the yellow phase or later, or at any time in an operating round, for a 10% share from the IPO or bank, or for half a director's cert, which you must then pay the other 10% for. It is then closed and removed from the game, so it becomes a share of something.
Of what?
Whatever you want it to be. Your choice. Dealer's choice.
What would it be?
And
A Curve City. No.
and it can be the 7th share.
It can be, and that, because it is not a stock purchase, it is exempt from the stock purchase rules. It is an exchange.
Nice.
The Erie and Kalamazoo closes at the start of the red. Some of these don't close. Some of them are, I guess, most of them close at the start of the red.
Yeah.
Where it says private companies close on the reminder sheet.
And it also says on the preference.
Well, it's great that it's written down in a bunch of places, unlike 1856. Erie and Kalamazoo. The company may, once per game, place an additional yellow track tile for $20 as part of your track action. When a company buys the Erie and Kalamazoo, it must immediately place a yellow track tile on E7. Yep. This is in addition to its normal operations. Immediately. Camboy comes with a 10% share of the PRR. You put a 10% share of the PRR with it.
It's red. It's not green.
Yeah, nope, it's slightly different. I mean, the logo's red, right?
Unplayable.
Isn't it a red keystone on a green field? Yeah, no, nobody knows. That's impossible to figure out. Nobody correct us. The green privates have a face value of $250. They have a revenue of $40. They don't block anything. They close at the start of the red, or in the matching share company, or a system that includes the share company, has acquired a train. So they are the B&O. When you buy them, they come with a director share and a 10% cert. You must immediately set the par price to any yellow par price. There's the three. Gosh, the 71's real narrow over there.
Mm-hmm. Go big or go home.
I mean, why not, right? That's what they do. Those are.
So they're the B&Os.
They're the B&Os. There's a bunch of them, right? Then they're
So let's talk about where they are. So the New York, Chicago, St. Louis Railroad.
the nickel plate.
Okay. NKP.
I mean, I think on the charter it just says the nickel plate. Yeah.
NKP, Missouri Pacific. Grand Trunk is up there. Yep. And oh god.
This is in both hexes.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
So we do an auction. We do all that fun stuff. In a stock round, you can buy shares and stuff. Buy and sell shares and start companies. You can dunk on people. I mean, whatever. It's no big deal. So some things that are really important. There's no limit. I made a sheet so we had somewhere to put the bank pool.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the bank pool. And here's the IPO. Okay? The suggestion is that you don't put the shares out for companies that float until... Because there's 16 of them. You don't need them all out. You're not going to run out. So there's an IPO and there's a bank pool. Okay? There's no cert limit. So you should probably own a lot of good
share
shit.
diversity.
Yes. The share density is not important.
Share density is less important. You can buy a share from the pool or the IPO. If it is in the gray company, if it is in the gray area, and you are the director, you can buy 2 shares, and you can go over 60%. Sorry, you can buy 2 shares if it's in the gray and the director. Also, if it's in the gray, you can own more than 60%. Odds are you're also the director.
So you have to be the director to buy 2.
You have to be the director in the gray to buy 2. Buy 2 stock certificates either from the bank pool or the IPO of a share company they direct whose stock price is in the gray area.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. Which is why Andy was able to get 80% of the company. Because I dumped it on him, and then he just bought it all up because it was like $42 or something.
Yeah. It was $48.
And that never has to get rectified if they come out of
And
the
then
gray.
he never has to. Yeah, never has
They don't have
to
to sell down.
He does not have to enter compliance,
Yep.
which is the superior way to own all of the company. You can merge 2 companies into a system
During the stock round.
during the stock round.
Okay.
And I'll get to that in a second. Or you can exchange the Mohawk and Hudson.
So it's sell by sell.
Oh. Shenanigans.
Sell one of
Sell.
sell a buy or merge action.
Yes.
Sell again.
Yes.
Okay. All right. When you pass, you take a new number. You know, the low numbers. And then that is the order for the next round is whatever your new numbers is, which lets you jump back in. So priority deal is not automatically given to the player to the left of the last person to take an action. When it's in the gray, you don't have to buy 2 shares. But what if you could? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can afford to buy 2 shares, you don't buy 2 shares. Everybody passes. That ends the stock round. At the start of the first stock round, at the start, the first stock round in the purple phase, blocking station markers are placed on home stations of companies with an unbought director share. In the purple phase, you cannot start new companies. So once we trigger purple and whatever OR, no more companies. We're going to nationalize it.
And things get blocked.
Then things get blocked.
So you could have a route, and all of a sudden you don't have a route, which will make you sad.
Which will make you sad. Shares are sold at current market value. You buy from the IPO at IPO. You buy from the pool at market price. When you buy the president's share, you set the par. You can't buy something you sold. You float when 60% of the companies are moved from the IPO. It says no more than 40% remains in the IPO. So through purchases, exchange, whatever. That's when a company floats. It is a full cap game. So you get 10 times your par value. Additional par values will unlock throughout the game in the green, blue, and brown phases. Okay. Somebody requested that we go through the merger rules.
Great.
So, Shawn, can we get some tokens?
What kind of tokens do you want?
2 companies. So we can put them on the stock chart.
Okay.
I'm going to open up that conversation thread.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. I didn't tweet out a link. I didn't do anything. I don't do nothing.
You are bad.
I'm bad. I'm so bad. I'm just the worst. I'm trying to do like about 6 things. Oh, I gotta lean back so you don't see my.
Look over here.
Don't look over here. Oh, Shawn sent something to that. That's why.
The announcement, yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, I was opening this for a reason.
Because we were going to walk.
Because I was looking through the rules help. There are 33 replies in this thread from 2 people.
Right.
And the most important one is the last one. Okay. So, when you want to form a merger, both companies must have existed before the start of the stock round, or both companies must have started since the beginning of the stock round. Either all old or all new companies. Never shall the 2 meet. You cannot bring an old company and pump new cash into it. They don't mix. So it's got to be 2 old companies or 2 new companies. So somebody explained it to us. I think that's the best way to get the concept through. Okay. You have placed their stock prices in a position.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The player announces which of the 2 companies will remain. Which of the 2 public companies will remain in the system? I guess it's those 2, right?
Yeah.
The shares, station markers, stock price marker, and par price marker for the system will match the selected company.
Like a grand trunk.
Let's say, hypothetically, the grand trunk will be the survivor. Okay? The merger marker, which is this thing, which turns out is super useful, is placed on the stock price for the new system. From the leftmost price, add half the lower one to it, and go straight up.
So 34. So 81 plus 34.
Mm-hmm.
So 91, 101, 111, 115.
What'd you get?
115.
Yeah, 115.
Which
So
is 106.
106.
Yes. Okay. If it hits the top, you then continue to the left. I'm sorry, this is backwards for me.
The right.
To the right. Okay. The thing is that you're traveling up from the leftmost and adding the cheaper one to it. Okay. You then put the 2 charters partially together. That would go away. Nope.
No.
Okay. Oh,
The leftmost
yeah.
is now 81.
Yeah. So now you add 102 plus half of 81.
But you still start at the
But you
left
still
column.
start from over here.
You start at the left column.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You start on the left column, yeah.
All right.
And it is the new stock price is the largest value, which is not larger, than the larger of the 2 values plus half the smaller value. Rounded down.
Got
Okay. You then place the charters on top of each other to signify that you have a system. However, they do need to be slightly separated because each company inside the shell can have trains. And I'll get to that in a minute. And that's the coolest part of the system, is that you can have these two companies like that. Actually, offset a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Move it this way.
Sorry. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
perfect.
Sorry,
okay.
folks.
All right. All right. If only one of the two companies had been floated, because they're both new companies, you'd only floated one of them, you would discard its treasury. Now, if they are both new companies, at least one of them must have floated. If you end up with 2 coal tokens, you discard one back to the coal fields. Return to the supply on the Virginia coal fields. Okay. The station markers of the other public company on the map and on the new charters are swapped with the survivor. You do the swap, right?
Okay. You just choose which token will be the system.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if we're choosing the Grand Trunk,
yeah.
Yes,
you would execute the token swap and remove
the Ontario Simcoe
the OSH,
the OS&H,
the OS&H, and they would become Grand Trunk.
Yep.
Okay. Players then trade their shares 2 for 1 in the new company. The order in which their shares are traded is as follows: players, then the bank pool, then the IPO. When you make the trade, you take your 2 shares and you discard one of them and hold on to the other.
Let's deal this out some shares.
All right.
Let's show it off to the people. So since I'm the dude, there's a Grand Trunk.
For single shares of the new system.
Whatever. You can just keep some number of them.
Yeah. So, there.
And then some go over there. Some number go over there.
Yep. We're going.
All right. Let's see how this goes, because this is kind of what happened last time. Today's 1828 sponsored by Advil. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. Starting with the acting player and proceeding in rotating order numbers. You are acting and then would go to 3, because rotating is I'm next. Okay.
Right.
I don't have any. I get to sit this whole process out.
Woo!
But Shawn is involved.
Yes.
Okay. Starting with you. You trade all pairs of shares you have of either or both companies for single shares of the new system. So we decided that the OS&H died, and the Grand Trunk. Oh no, these need to stay there, don't they? Yep, they totally do.
Yep.
What was it? 68. All right.
Yeah.
All right. But I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember which one's the survivor. It's put the Grand Trunk on top. Yes. That way that helps me as I try to go through this. Okay. You trade all pairs of shares you have in either or both companies for single shares in the new system. If the total number of shares you have is odd, you may choose which share to leave untraded. So, at this time, please exchange
pairs of shares.
Pairs of shares
from where?
Your hand.
Yep.
How many? So you have.
I have 3 odd shares, or 3 shares of the dead company.
You have 7 shares.
7 total.
7 shares. So pick up 2 shares, put them into a discard pile over here. Now take 1 Grand Trunk and put it face down by your calculator.
Of my own.
Yes, because that is yours.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now do that again. Okay.
No.
I said 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
So there's 2, and then 1. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's not right.
No, that's not right. All right, do it. Set it back up. Set it back up again. Right. Hold on. It references 7521.
Right. So it should be you pick up 2, you trade 2, and that one goes over there.
Okay. Players trading shares in the system take their shares from. You take your share from the individual public company shares they are trading for system shares. So you pick up 2. Go back to the 7. Go back to 7. Okay. Pick up 2. Is that a pair?
No.
I'm sorry. Is that? Are you holding? Are you holding two shares?
Yes.
Discard one of them. Is one of them that were you holding a system share?
Yes.
That one becomes your real share.
There you go.
And flip it over.
And then...
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a half share left?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because the first place you pick it up from is the individual person who's trading shares in. It says the individual public company shares. They are trading. So you're holding them. That is the first place you pull them from.
Right.
Okay. And you have held on to a share. Okay.
Don't do anything on that.
Don't just wait. That's a whole other section. Okay. Okay. Starting with the next player in player number order after the acting player. Oh, sorry. Starting with the act. Oh, so then Shawn would then have to trade his in.
Right, and I don't have it.
Okay.
I only have a half.
Okay.
You get nothing.
I get nothing, and I don't like it.
Starting with the next player in player number order after the acting player and proceeding in rotating player order, ending with the currently acting player.
Right.
Starting with the next player in player number order after. So Shawn starts the next part.
So part of this is that you as the director will
might
get
get bumped.
screwed the most. Will get screwed the most. So if there's some way for you not to be able to turn in a share,
Right.
you're the one who's going to get screwed. Because they want to make this process kind of painful.
That sounds like a great idea.
Wow. So now,
But that's
That
the way
makes
it
the
works.
most sense, right?
Shawn, starting with you.
Yes.
Because
Genius.
you are the. It ends with. So
Yeah.
Jerem, the acting player, makes the first trade
Right.
for pairs. Then in the next phase, the acting player makes the last trade for half shares. Okay. You must trade a single share that you have of one of the two public companies plus the difference
Right.
in its current stock price for a single merger share, a single share of the system, single share of the system if available.
So since I have a green share
Yeah.
and I'm currently at 68
Yeah.
and I'm going to 106,
Yeah,
which is some amount.
30.
Yeah, 106 minus
8.
68.
38.
Right. 38.
You got to pay $38.
I pay $38.
Yes.
And then I take a share
Yes. You take
from where?
from the individual public company shares you are trading for system shares. Shares previously discarded in the process. Are there any of those?
Those are not.
Okay.
None of them are system shares.
Very good. Shares yet untraded, held by players later in trading order, giving them the discarded share of the other public company. Okay. Congratulations.
And
But
now
who got the money?
The bank.
The bank. I pay the bank.
Pays the bank. Okay.
And mine's flipped over because it is.
Now it cannot be stolen from you. Now, Jeremiah,
Yes.
you have the same issue.
Mhm.
Alternatively, Shawn could have sold that share.
Right.
He could have just gotten $68 and been done with it. If you have sold a share of those companies, you cannot convert your system share. You cannot convert to a system share because you know how you can't buy something you sold.
Right.
Applies during merger rules as well. If you sold Grand Trunk or OS&H in the stock round and then later there's a merger, you can't convert up because you sold out. You're a sellout. Okay. Jeremiah, you now have one of these sweet, sweet half shares,
Then I could probably do the same
which
thing.
you can do the exact same thing.
Right. So I pay.
You pay $38.
Well, so you start. So you're
Right.
going to pay.
Yes.
You started discards.
Is there any of the discards?
No.
Okay.
Is there other players?
I don't have any.
Right.
I was not involved in this process. It goes from the IPO, replacing it with the discarded share of the public company.
So you'll pay yours
To the bank.
Yep. Yeah.
This comes to me.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is yours.
Okay. All right. Then, all bank pool shares receive the same process. So,
It keeps two in the bank pool, and those go away. Those get discarded. Right.
Yeah. Those are discarded.
Yep.
The IPO then doesn't have any because there's we started with a smaller number than 10, but it's
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay, well,
But then those can't trade, and then they go away
all right.
because there's no place to take it from.
The IPO just lost.
First, all pairs of shares. Then any remaining shares, or any remaining discarded shares are placed in the bank pool. If there was any in there, they would end up over here. The bank pool, we're placing it with one of the discarded shares. Placing it with a discarded share, the other public company. Okay, so it is important that you trade in pairs in player order. You convert half shares the other way.
Right. Well, the
No.
director's first for
Director's-
converting
yeah.
regular shares.
And then
the
last.
director's last for converting half shares.
Yes. You then do the bank pool, the IPO, and the place you take them from are first the shares that you're trading in your hands, then from discards, then from other people, then the IPO, then the bank pool.
Okay, so that's it. That actually brings about some interesting.
But which we don't really need to worry about too much.
Except
until we get there.
Yeah,
Right.
so we're like, well, there's no way we're going to have that problem. And then Sean's like,
Well,
I'm going to do a merger and everything's wrong.
I'm just saying is when I get to, if you're in that kind of a situation and you choose, like when I do pairs, these two, this is a pair, goes away. Where do you get the other? Who do I take this from?
You
From
take
player
it from
order.
shares that have been traded in,
Yep.
shares that have been discarded,
Yep.
other players,
Right.
IPO,
Is there an order?
bank.
Yes,
There's this.
just
I'm
that-
reading
okay.
the order.
That is this very specific
There's
order.
a very specific order. So if you had gotten down, if you couldn't find any at Shawn or me or whatever, it's going to end, or the discards or the ones you're holding goes to the IPO
Yeah, right.
and the bank.
Okay.
So the idea is that,
Things leave the IPO.
and they never come back.
Okay.
Very good.
I've been told several times. Once we've done it a couple times, we won't even think about it.
We will absolutely.
I
think about
won't. I definitely won't think about it later.
It is going to be. But then the thing is, I hear a lot of chatter from people who are like, the 1862 mergers are terrible. Like, they're so hard to rule. They're so hard to run through. I'm like, one, that rule book's trash. That's a trash rule book. Okay? But honestly, it's you put all your stuff in a pile and get rid of half of it. There's complicated rules for kicking it down the line.
Yeah, there's
which-
always. It's always
Which
the,
has to be
it's
has to
always the
exist,
edge case.
because there's going to be an edge case. Okay?
Very good. So that is merged.
That is mergers. The reason that you do a merger is that you have a system.
There's one more step.
What was the step?
So after you've done that, you have to donate a share to the system.
Yeah, the director must donate a share to the system, which is then locked up.
So you get rid of one of your shares,
Jesus.
it goes in
Hey,
the system,
Shazner.
and then it pays the whole rest of the time.
But you can't buy it out of there because you can
To
only
the
buy.
system.
These are the only places you can buy shares from, and that's not one of those two places.
And so it can still go up.
It
right?
can still go up because
because it's not in the.
it's not in the IPO
Wait,
or the
wait.
bank pool. So
Hey, Shazner.
the share
Hey, Shazner.
sold by the system counts for being out of
Gotcha.
held.
The rule is not all shares owned by players. It's all shares not in the bank pool or IPO
Yes.
for the end of the stock round.
And they can't see that because it's behind the graphic. But there's I have pieces of paper that I wrote on.
You keep touching them.
He
You
does.
keep calling them out.
Behold.
It says IPO. It says bank pool because there's no board for that as given to us.
Limited space here.
We
Limited-
also we got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. All right. If the director must donate a 10% share to the new system,
Which could make you not the director.
which could make you not the director.
Which maybe you shouldn't have done that to start with.
Oh my god.
The top cam, I noticed that it was having a moment when I was trying to move stuff and it would stall. But
Yeah,
it's this one. It's just it's that one up there. So it's not like a real
yeah.
serious one. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing that last stream too.
We're down to 3 cameras now?
Yeah.
We're only up 3 cameras. There's another camera over there.
I mean, there's that camera, then I got a camera at home.
Oh, we have all those too.
I haven't actually,
If one of the two public companies was not floated at the start of the process, when the merged company floats, because you can merge that float with a non-float,
Right.
they become whatever state they end up in. When the merged company floats, no more than 40% of the shares remain in the IPO. It has 6, 7, or 8 station markers matching the combined total, and then it gets 10 times its new par price.
Mhm.
So it's possible that you could merge 2 companies, and then cap it over $1,000, right? If you float one company, I'm sorry, not if you float. If you purchase 50% of a company and 60% of another company, right? You floated one.
Mm-hmm.
This all in one stock.
Mhm.
When you merge them, let's say hypothetically, they're both $86 because it's a nice round number. Okay.
Yep.
You have received $860 into the Grand Trunk and nothing into the OS&H because you haven't floated it.
Right.
When they merge, you discard the Grand Trunk's treasury. That's one of the first steps. That money's just gone because you're going to recap the company. Okay.
What?
Listen, just if you have hypothetical. Okay, it's example.
We're still doing this whole system thing.
Yeah. We're still doing this merger.
So this is a merger of companies that haven't run yet.
Okay. You have just started buying the shares for them this stock round. You have floated the Grand Trunk at 86.
And it got $860.
$860. You have not floated the OS&H.
Right. We're back to this whole situation again.
One of the first steps is to discard the treasury. If one of the two public companies had been floated, its assets are discarded.
Got it.
Okay. All right. If only one of the public companies has been floated. Okay. All right. Its treasury is discarded.
Got it.
Okay. When you merge them, you end up with whatever percentage you had, probably less than 60%. But maybe you purchase up to 60%. I'm not going to worry about that. After you merge them, and that company and the new system floats, what's that? What's the new value on this? 86 plus 34.
43.
80. Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
129.
129.
So 126.
Right. You
So
will
now
end
it
up
gets
with $1,260 because you have merged two brand new companies that you started. Yeah. This is hot tech right here. I'm going to write Bankruptcy Club on this and put it on BGG, copyright, open source, scrawl on it. Yeah. So that's, we didn't have that last time, but that is a thing that can be done. So that you wouldn't, instead of ending up with 16 whatever for two separate companies, you have one company that has 1,260. The reason that any of this happens is that you have a shell, right? So you have you have a system, two companies like so. Each of those is a shell. There is emergency train buying as normal. If the system as a whole has a train, it's fine. If either shell within the system does not have a train, you may electively enter emergency fundraising for that shell.
Which I love to do.
Which you love to do.
I love to do.
You love emergency fundraising. Look, this game just gives you... Do you just want to enter emergency fundraising for the fun of it? You totally can.
Yes!
Okay? And then you can, at the beginning of the train buying step, you can shuffle the trains around wherever you want to create a situation in which you may electively enter emergency fundraising.
So we still need to talk about how the systems operate because they're saying that different systems have different trains. Or different shells have different trains.
So the thing is, that only applies to the train buying step. You have... This is your company at the beginning of the game. You do it super early. Mm-hmm. The Grand Trunk shell has 2, and the OS&H has 1. It runs... Hey! Oh, what's that one's name?
That's Eric?
Yeah.
Oh. Unless he's hiding his actual name.
Oops.
They
know where you are. Run!
You move this up just a little bit more. All right. This is your setup, okay?
Yep.
At the beginning of the beginning of the train buying process. Oh, sorry. This is your setup. When it runs, the Grand Trunk runs like it has 3 twos. Because there's no OS&H tokens on the board.
The Grand Trunk system.
The Grand Trunk system
runs 3 twos.
Correct. Off of its tokens, which are on the board, which you've done through the exchange.
Yep.
At the beginning of the train buying step, you were like, just put that over there. Yep. Oh no, the OS&H doesn't have a train. I will buy one out of pocket because I want to buy a 3 or a 5 or whatever, right?
All right?
You get a diesel.
You get a diesel.
You get a diesel real early. That's a good strategy.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I think they did where you can move the trains to each shell immediately whenever you want. I think there's actually a specific time in the train rules for buying.
Train buying step.
At the start of the train buying step, a system may freely arrange its trains between its shells.
Okay. Now, talk to me about how do the shells deal with train limits?
Each shell has the train limit.
So the
You can have
system,
Yeah.
right, is the train limit is not on the system, it's on each individual shell in the system. That's hot. That's pretty hot. I like that.
It is. You're like, I got 8 twos.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
let me
I'm
run
five
4
3Ds.
Yeah, let me run 4 D.
I don't think I got that many routes.
No, you had like 5 trains. Like I don't have. I guess I'm wasting one of these trains on a couple like
Yeah.
here.
You did it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
like
right.
Like I run one for 32, one for 36, and one for like 6.
Public
That's
companies
great.
and system shells must discard trains to the new train limit. Okay.
Okay.
If you have a route, you must have a train. Any additional questions regarding shells, mergers?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You said the shells have to, you said when it goes down the train limit.
Yeah.
Right.
Each,
So they could, and now I'm within the train limit.
except that, yes, you.
The limit is, so in
Yeah.
red,
Okay,
the
like
train
this.
limit is 2.
Like this, okay?
Right.
You can't buy any more trains on the Grand Trunk shell.
Right.
You can move some over to the OS and H. Now you can. Because the trains rust.
But again, it happens at a very particular time, which means it's probably not going to be what you want. Because it's not whenever you want.
Nope.
Okay.
It's right when Ian's going to screw you.
Do you have any additional questions regarding that?
No.
Okay.
This time.
The game ends
Not
This time.
at the following stages.
When I go bankrupt.
Yes. Correct.
If all players agree that one of them has already won the game ends immediately.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you saying that we shouldn't continue the game?
We did
If we already
last
know
time.
somebody-
We did last time, and it turns out Shawn won, and we knew he was going to win, and then he won anyway.
Ah, it's genius.
But we played the full game out because then we weren't all the way through the phases. Okay. If a player goes bankrupt, if you reach $500,
That seems hard.
That seems...
the first complete set of operating rounds in the purple phase. So we trigger it.
So once the first D
We trigger it in
bought,
here. We buy the D. We finish it, and then we do a full set, like 1862
Yes.
in the game. Okay. Any additional questions at this time?
No.
No? No? Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. David, you want to go back earlier? We went through the mergers with several examples, and I think we got it right on the third try. Second try? We definitely got it right by the end. I think we got it. Last thing is the trains, right? 2, 3, 5, and 6 trains run for 2, 3, 5, and 6 stops. Okay?
Yep.
3 plus D. They cannot have more than a total of 3 cities, coal fields, or off-board locations. They may include any number of towns. Double the sum of all revenues. So it's 3 big stops, any number of little stops, doubled. Got it, okay? 8 E trains are 8 cities they skipped it. These cities, coal field, and off-boards, they can include any number of towns, but they don't count for revenue. And diesels are everything. Diesels are unlimited everything. Okay?
Yep.
All right. A public company can own up to the current train limit. Each shell of a system can own up to the current number of trains up to the limit. Train limits are checked and enforced immediately. Coal markers. There are 3 coal markers. Behold. All right. I think that's it.
What do they do?
They let you go to the coal fields.
That's it.
That's
they
it.
let you
I mean,
run
it's
to and through
Right.
the coal fields.
yes.
Nobody else can use the coal fields as a revenue location unless you have a coal token because they don't care. You got passengers driving to the coal fields, they don't care.
No one can use it as a revenue location.
Yeah, you cannot get revenue unless you have a
Right.
coal token.
But can they run through it?
No.
No, because
Oh, that's okay.
to or through or use
There
it
you
as
go.
a revenue
you go.
location.
That is a blocked hex unless
Got
you
it,
have the
got
coal token key.
Got it.
Okay.
Coal token. That's a new one.
All right. It's like a church key, but different.
It's different.
It opens
I
up,
have a bottle opener.
it opens up the coal fields, not beer cans.
This thing is not a beer can. It's not even.
Look, the church.
Weird,
you
man.
open it up by stabbing a knife into the top and catching it in your mouth.
A pair of scissors on the bottom.
All right. That went a little long, but I'm going to turn the rules off. We're going to get some money.
Maybe
and then-
talk about you guys.
No, not going to do that. And then we're going to start the stream back up because I'm keeping the rules videos separate from the main stream so that way you can come back and watch this 45-minute hot take independently of the game. So we will be right